88 million people didn't vote in the 2024 election. Were you one? This isn't a guilt trip video, it's real talk. If you're one of the 88 million Americans who didn't vote in 2024, you're not alone, and you're not the problem. 88 million is more than the number who voted for Trump. It's more than those who voted for Harris. So can we really call what happened a mandate? Because the truth is, more Americans chose no one. Hi, I'm Lorena, and today I'd like to talk about how we got here, why you might have chosen not to vote, and why that decision matters now more than you think. So before I dive in, please like and subscribe if you truly believe your government should work for you. I'd love to stay connected to share ways you can have your voice heard. So let's get real for a moment. If you didn't vote, you probably had a reason, and it wasn't laziness. Maybe you felt ignored. Maybe you felt lied to. Maybe the grocery bill, the rent, the second job all felt more urgent than a voting booth. Maybe you didn't clearly understand what each of the candidates was really representing. Because if we're honest, they usually say one thing while campaigning and end up doing another, most times. And it seems to get worse with every election. So you're not crazy. You're not apathetic. You're living in a system that's given you every reason not to trust it. And here might be just a few of those reasons. Maybe you're tired of big corporate money in politics, and I'm talking about from both parties. We're living in a time when billions are spent even in local elections. And behind the scenes, it's not always lawmakers writing the laws, it's lobbyists. Lobbyists are literally handing them bills word for word. Big oil, big pharma, big ag. These laws aren't made to protect you, the American citizen. They're to protect profit and take you out of the loop. While billionaires get tax breaks, you're juggling rent, groceries, student loans, and trying to survive in a system that wasn't written for you. It was written to confuse you, to make it so complicated the average person wouldn't have the time or energy to unravel what's really going on. You see it, you feel it, and you wonder, what's the point? My voice doesn't really matter. Well, you know, you're smart, you're caring, and you're a diligent citizen. But damn, it's hard to juggle everything. These self-serving politicians are more focused on winning elections and cashing in after than solving your real problems. Prioritizing party loyalty over the people they are supposed to serve. This is just happening more and more. So let me be clear. This is happening with both parties. They're both guilty of this. Fundraising to line their pockets becomes the main focus over governing. And quite frankly, it's exhausting and it's insulting. And this administration, the current one, Trump, it's taken corruption to a level we've never seen in modern history. It feels like we've gotten to a place of no return. And we may have, but you know what? I think it might be a good thing. Now, hear me out before you tune out. Maybe we're making space for something different to come about, something better when we all wake up, something that we all have a say in. But let's continue. You might feel there's been economic inequity, tax cuts for the rich, bailouts for the banks, crumbs for all of us. I know for me personally, during the Biden administration, I kept hearing how good the market was doing. And yes, it was. It's a fact. But did you personally feel it? Did your bank account grow? Probably not. I know I was just really trying to figure out what was really going on. So during that time, there was the biggest wealth exchange in history. This was mostly due to the tax break that Trump had put in place during his tenure, and the rich got richer. It was called the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It slashed the corporate tax rate and the top individual tax rate. While there were cuts across the board, the top 1% received the lion's share of the benefits. So they sold it to us as we're all getting a tax cut, which we did across the board. But here's an example. In 2019, someone in the bottom 10% of earnings got an average tax cut of $50, while a person in the top 1% enjoyed a $34,000 tax cut. So that's a huge difference. And while we were all told this was a trickle-down good thing, what did these huge, large corporations actually do with their tax savings? They spent it heavily on stock buybacks, over $463 billion worth. So yes, the stock market saw significant gains, but unless you personally had substantial investments, these gains might have felt like you were watching someone else win the lottery and your life stayed exactly the same and maybe got a little worse. So while Biden attempted to address this, the structure of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act Trump put in place made it difficult, especially without congressional support. So it's like asking the foxes who were handed the henhouse to please give up their position, but that was just not going to happen. So the end result, Trump was able to capitalize on your feelings during his campaign. He knew how to make promises he never intended to keep. And on top of that, neither Biden nor Kamala had a relatable message to present you with. Honestly, they were too soft and they were too business as usual when Trump went for the juggler. With so many people feeling pain, of course, many were attracted to his message, or many, perhaps like yourself, were conflicted. They didn't know what to do or who to believe. This was not your fault. The system failed you. You have a life, and how would you have cut through this noise? The media landscape for this type of information has changed. Where can you turn to get reliable information? Well, if you're listening to this, hopefully now you found a new home. And a final point to cover is the issue of misaligned government spending. You hear that billions are sent overseas. Billions more are spent on military contracts. And now they're trying to increase that budget again. The Trump administration is right now. Even though they're complaining about the budget, they're actually trying to increase that. But you're told there's no money for healthcare, Social Security, Veterans Affairs, education, or student debt relief. So when Trump and Elon said, let's dismantle USAID, you probably cheered, not really understanding what that agency did for our position in the world. And by the way, it made up less than 0.3% of our entire federal budget. So if they were really looking for waste, fraud, and abuse, that is not where they would have started. The real problems are not being addressed. And how would you know that? It's not your fault. Again, the system failed you. Then there's a lack of transparency and accountability. Scandals come, scandals go, and no one is held accountable in our government. But this administration, the one right now, it's worse than that. Misbehavior has been celebrated. Power keeps protecting itself, and you're told to move on. There's nothing to see here, all while our war plans are being leaked out on an insecure app. Pure stupidity, and it's being normalized. Again, it's not your fault, but please don't let them make it normal. And now we're tapping into what was once considered only sci-fi: surveillance and overreach. There's data mining going on. Elon and his minions have all your data. And if that doesn't scare you, please watch my other video where I deep dive into that. And now here we are with Trump's revenge tour. We are introducing facial recognition, warrantless wiretaps, secret court orders, and slowly we are chipping away at our civil liberties, especially privacy, with the data being exposed, due process not being given to those that are accused of something without the opportunity to prove their innocence, and freedom of speech. You didn't vote for a surveillance state, but here we are, and it's not your fault. Trump's mandate, as he keeps saying, is a myth in his head. Trump won by a razor-thin margin, and I'm not going to let him forget it. He got 77.3 million votes. That's just 31.6% of eligible voters. Kamala got 75 million, about 30.7%. But 88 million people didn't vote at all. They outnumbered everyone. And if you're one of them, stay with me here so I can explain why it's more important now than ever to get involved in a way that's doable, easy, and not overwhelming. Again, when Trump claims he has a mandate to reshape the nation, to tear down institutions, ignore laws, or attack the press, no, he doesn't. That mandate is fiction. But you, on the other hand, you have an opportunity to really make a difference. And why this matters now, it's because when we step out of the process entirely, those in power get to rewrite the rules, and that is happening. That's happening right now. Trump and his allies are appointing cabinet members with zero qualifications. And I've done a whole series of videos on them because there's a reason why they were chosen. They're anti every department that they've been put ahead of. That has to make you wonder what the deeper motivation is. He and Elon are slashing government departments, bypassing Congress with executive orders, undermining the courts, the press, and the law. This isn't a party issue. It's a power issue. And here's the worst part. They're counting on you to stay home because when you're not at the table, you can't stop them. And that's why they're pushing the SAVE Act. And I've covered that in detail in another video that's extremely important to be educated on. So look out for that video as well. This video isn't about shaming you or anyone. I hope you don't feel that way. It's about having an awakening. If you're one of the 88 million who sat out, it means you have a vote that hasn't been used yet and a voice that matters now more than ever. And I'm really speaking to you. We can change this. We can demand pro-voter legislation, expand civic education, remove voting obstacles, which means like transportation issues, time off, and access to the voting booths closer to home. We can push reps to engage the non-voter conversation. And you can get involved in 5 minutes a day or more if you want. It's all up to you. I created a free democracy action toolkit. The link for it is below the video. It has a tracker, a guide, a trusted resource list that has media outlets, what they are known for, why they're on this list, how come they're a trusted list. I detail all of that out. So if you voted, please share this video with someone who didn't. If you voted and aren't happy with the outcome, I've got you too. If you didn't vote, please stay with me here. Listen, take what helps, leave what doesn't. Above all, ask me questions, engage. But please don't disappear because your voice matters. It matters now more than ever before. Your voice was never the problem, but it is the solution. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe if you believe your government should work for you. I don't want you to miss any opportunities for your voice to count because it matters. And by subscribing, you're helping others so they can get this information in their feed as well. So as always, get the facts, stay strong, take action. This is how we build a democracy that works for everyone. Ciao for now. Hey, before you go, don't forget your free toolkit. The link's right below this video. I made it just for you.